Hi everyone, Ryan Ragland with James Waggoner back with you with another ball review, and today we have the Ordnance Pearl. This guy is like massively excited about it. I'm excited about it because I like the Pearl, but I did a little bit of a different layout on mine. But you got to throw it at Expo. Talk a little bit about what you saw initially.
Initially, I mean, I got to throw it on a burned, I believe it was either Stone Street or Easy Street, one of those two. Typical house shot for out there, see it every year. But I got in on the back end of it, so there was a lot of carry down. The ball still recovered with the amount of carry down that was there. I played on a pair that had a lot of traffic on it that was pretty much straight up the side. I played more inside out. But all in all, I mean, I was really surprised with the ball. I didn't get to throw the drift a lot. This ball has the same core as the drift. They renamed it for this particular release. It is now known as the Projectile, which previously known as the Hula. I kind of had an idea going into it. I was really excited to throw it. I'm really thrilled to get this one in my bag and see what it can do.
You ended up texting me when you got done throwing them, and the only word you put down was "wow."
Yeah.
And you were these are one of the balls that you're really talking about how clean it was, even though the lanes were pretty well burned up and everything. You were still surprised on how clean this ball was and getting through the fronts, even though you still weren't dead left. You were still in an area where you really didn't have to fight to get it down lane.
Right.
To see a reaction down lane.
Right.
You went with your standard layout.
60 by 3 by 30. For all test balls here on out, except for like the bigger core balls, this is what I'm going to be doing. It's my go-to drill, first one out of the bag all the time.
Yeah, I went with it. I went with a surprise. I went with the Rico, and a lot of people have been asking about the Rico, and what I'm doing different with this is, well, number one, the reason I chose is I thought, let's give it a shot. Why not? I just kind of looked at it because I couldn't figure out what I was going to put in it, and you know me, anytime I can get a Rico and get a good reaction out of it, it's like, whew, kind of get excited. So I went with the Rico. I don't have the hole in it back here, which you would end up going 6 3/4 from the pin to the CG and back down where the mass bias would be. I don't have the hole in this yet, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a few shots with it like this with no hole. Then I'm going to hit the Pro Shop real quick, punch a hole in it, and then I'm going to show a little bit more shape with it with the hole. Now granted, we can only use this for about another year, but I keep telling everyone that's a year from now.
Right.
This is the time to play around a little bit to find out what each layout does without a hole. Without a hole, it's a little bit tamer off the spot. I threw this on Alcatraz a few days ago, and I was clean through the heads, through the fronts. I don't want to say laid off in the sense that it got weak. It just laid off the spot and didn't make that snap. It was really controlled, but it still made the turn. I'm predicting with the hole, we're going to see a lot more reaction out of it that I've seen with other equipment. I did it with the original Eon without the hole. It just kind of seemed to labor a little bit. With the hole, it blows up. I did it with the infrared. Love it with the infrared. So that's what I'm going to do with this. You've got the higher rev rate, so you're going to be a little bit more inside, but I'll have a few different looks with and without the hole on this, so it should be kind of interesting. We're going to be throwing it on Inferno oil pattern with the house shot, and I'll have the specs on the Inferno on how long and amount and ratio and stuff. So again, we really haven't been able to throw this on a decently fresh pattern. Everything we've been throwing it on has either been a real difficult sport or a beat up house, so we're both kind of excited to see what happens with it. You had talked about not being able to throw the drift that much. I've thrown a couple of them, and with this having the S70 Pearl, the drift I believe had the 63 Pearl, somewhere in that area, 62, 63.
Hybrid.
Yeah. That one came off the spot really hard, and that was kind of, I want to put down a room of the Badger. that, you know, for me, when it comes off the spot, it makes that turn. So I'm kind of curious to see what that's going to look like on a fresh compared to what this is going to look like without and with the hole. So we're going to go back here and hit the lanes. We'll be back in a little bit, and we will tell you what we put up with. With you with the Ordnance Pearl, as you saw, big difference with the different reactions with the his rev rate, and I actually increased my rev rate going down to 14 pounds, which I'm still trying to get used to. You get a little bit of a surface change on yours due to the fact that we were getting a little bit of a swirly reaction on the outside.
Hit it with, I believe it was a 2000, just to knock the shine off of it a little bit. I got the ball to read probably about 7 to 10 foot shorter. Gave it that mid lane read to where it could actually make a turn. You know, factory finish, it was just getting down lane and never recovering. There's going to be there's a couple shots in the video where I threw it box finish, and then the later shots are with the surface change. Again, on this one, with the Ordnance, I think I'm going to do probably a different drill on the other one. This one just goes a little bit too long for me, so to read a little bit closer and maybe square up a little bit straighter. All in all, I mean, I'm still happy with the ball. Just conditions for this particular drill and ball matchup didn't really match for me today.
Especially for what we had for the house pattern. It was still kind of, like I said, it was kind of squirrely, a little bit tighter than normal house shots that we've seen. For me, as you saw, I had the Rico layout. First I did the shots without the hole, then I threw the hole in it, and I definitely got to get the boards deeper on both patterns. Not only that, I was helping a little bit at the bottom, really catching to get through it, which is one reason why I went down to 14, being able to get through it more with my game. I'm kind of trying to work on my timing and everything else and release and be able to stand underneath it. I've actually changed my axis a little bit, or my KP. But the ball is still clean. I left the surface alone. He hit his just a little bit, and as you saw in the video, the ball was still clean through the heads. Wanted to see the spot. With this Rico drilling, you can kind of see the difference in the two. With the Rico drilling, it's really slow, but it's really continuous. With James, really clean, hits a spot, and makes that left turn. With him having a 3-inch pin on his is 60 by 3 by 30. So with that 3-inch pin, it's going to kind of get the ball to start up a little bit sooner, but his rev rate and speed's a little bit higher, so sometimes he may need a little bit more to help get that into that roll. And as you say, you hit a little bit of surface, and the ball started to come to life. And that's not the first time we've had DCT Pearl. During the inception, I ended up knocking the surface on that one, and that ball came to life. So don't be afraid to hold a little bit of surface if you need to, if you're not quite seeing it out of the box. Just a little bit of surface, but it's got the shine back on it. So, you know, you have your options on what you want to do with it. Once again, thanks to Mike Huffman with the strike zone here at Fort Leavenworth for giving us a hand on getting the conditions down. We saw Bradley walk by him with a shot to him. If you have any questions or comments, drop him a message, drop me a message. You can drop it down on here on the YouTube channel or on the Facebook if you want to, and we'll answer any questions we can. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and click the bell anytime we have a new video coming out. You get a link on that. So that's the Ordnance Pearl. We've got the Flex, the Bolt, and the Infusion Badger coming up pretty soon, so stick around for that. So thanks for all the help, and we'll see you guys later.